Yeah, I did get it. It was dolphin and half moon. Those are the, yeah.
Two.
A lot of thigh stretching.
A lot of thigh stretching. I
So
think we'll do, we'll move towards perfect, and then the mute, and then it's great. Yes. I think we'll take it, instead of half moon and dance, I think last week we did dancer, so we'll do dancer again today,
Okay.
just so that people have a little bit of repetition, and then we'll move towards Urdhva Dhanurasana.
Okay.
The upward, did I write upward facing bow or no?
No.
Or just lots of back bend?
You wrote back bend, and you wrote dolphin and half moon.
Yeah.
And the thing I thought why you meant half moon is when you can grab your
The
leg
thigh
and do
stretch.
that thing.
We can do, let's do that one. We'll do that one and it'll expand, and then we'll work towards Urdhva, so we'll do a lot of block in between the thighs, inner thighs
And
going
Urdhva's
back.
bow.
Upward facing bow, yeah.
Is that this one?
When you're
Yeah.
on your back.
On your back,
Yeah.
that one, like a back bend.
Like
in
a back bend,
gymnastics.
exactly. We can do it where in the beginning we can swap. In the beginning
Okay.
you practice. Yeah, when you practice, I'll walk around, and then when we get to maybe the dolphin half moon, we can swap.
So I thought it was really interesting, and it kind
I'm
of
just going to sit on this side so I can point to him a little.
Yeah.
But you sit here. Yeah, yeah.
something good to like. I don't know. I feel like it's a nice option. Like your class is always so advanced, but when I was looking it up, because it spoke to me, because balance is so hard on that half moon. But I'm sure you know this.
Yeah.
But how they showed to like just as an option to like do it on like your knee instead, and then I don't know. I just felt like it was a good way for me to start practicing the balance.
Progressive teaching, totally.
And
Yeah.
then the wall, so good for the.
Yeah.
But
Hi, good to see you.
I didn't know. I was like, so if she lets me do half moon, maybe I could do it on
The knees. Yeah,
just to
absolutely.
show people that it's like an option. Your class wants to like
Go.
go for it. They will, yeah, just themselves hard. And hey, you motivate, dude. It's a good thing. That's amazing.
Let's see.
Turn all my noises off. Turn my kids
Hi. Hi. Hi, Abby. Good to see you. Come on through. We'll have you sit either on this side or this side, and grab anything you'd like to sit on. Bolsters. You have stuff to write with or write on. And I'll just say a little, every time somebody comes to observe, I just like to say a little thing like, this is Abby. Ignore her or say hi to her. Like, she's watching me, she's watching you. So each time you'll probably hear me saying the same spiel repeatedly. Can we actually, sorry, can we put you on this side? Sure. Yeah, the class is a little full, and I know that people usually come up here. Thank you. Marcy, this is Abby, Marcy. Abby's observing today and starting observations. Marcy just graduated teacher training last year. Yeah, yeah. I know, good.
There's a busy season.
Yeah, fair. March?
March, it's March. Because it's almost May.
June.
It's almost
I know.
I don't know how their class is going fast for me.
By proxy.
I'm not sure how that works. I feel like, wow. And, well, because I started here in November. 6 months? September.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes they aggravate.
Yeah. So when even baby cobra, I have to
Yeah.
to keep
The low
it
back
as
stable.
neutral as I can because I just do this all the time.
Yeah.
I'm so lordotic that and I have to like extra do it. I feel
Yeah.
like.
But that's good information for you to know for when your teachings come about.
Yeah,
You know.
I thought about that. I thought about how sometimes as teachers you'll say, and for me, because you never know how out there, it's like, oh, for me too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then for the, well, I'm going to listen, as I always listen to you, but to your, like, just one of your cues on the half moon, like the balance part of it,
I talk a lot about the back leg
the back leg.
because when the back leg goes behind, you'll hear me say it in demo, it pulls you back. Yeah.
It's keeping it, trying to keep it forward.
And really steady and straight.
And what?
And like straight and steady, even if the foot's tapped on the back leg.
The back leg, oh.
Because if the knee is bent or if it's like weebling in space, it'll tip you off kilter.
That's what kept happening. I kept going backwards.
Yeah.
Backwards. And something said, make sure your core is really
Yeah.
engaged, which I'm sure is helpful. And make sure, that
You'll hear some of the cues today, so you'll be able to listen to
I'm
them.
looking
Yeah.
forward to adding on to getting more.
Yeah. I'm going to open some windows. How do you what?
How do you know where you're going?
I know. How do you know where your leg is? We'll start soon, y'all. We're waiting on a bunch more folks. Take your time. We'll use all of the props. A blanket, if you know your knees get a little tender, putting them down on the mat. 2 blocks, strap, therapy balls, and anything else you like to use. A suggestion, there's so much room for everyone to fit today. I'm just scrolling to see who's here and who's making their way in. If you could, it'll help if you get just an inch or 2 closer to your friends next to you so that as people start to come in, they just have a sweet little landing spot to come into. A new place, not up here. I know. And we'll start soon. Thank you. Sally, can we have you come up here if that's okay? We'll bring you here and then 2 folks can fit in over there. Do you mind? Or you can scooch all the way back. Up to you. Good to see you. Hi. Come on up. You come on up. Hi. Have you been in the studio before? Welcome. New studio, new neighborhood. Did you get the show around downstairs of where everything is? Okay, good. Okay. What was that? Yes, just put your hand there. Also, there might be, if you check in those drawers, maybe, or if not, definitely downstairs there'll be some pens. Hi, all, welcome. We can fit you in here too, and then I see if we can get just an inch or 2 closer, unless you guys want to be close to each other. There's space right in between here, so if we could scooch an inch or 2 to the right or left. No, you guys are good. You stay. Pointing behind. Thank you. Hi, come on in. You looking for space? There's a spot. Can we have you guys just scooch an inch closer to either side? And then Emily, you can fit in right here. There should be room. Thank you. Okay, in theory, we're waiting on just 3 more, but we'll see if the good weather enticed them to stay at home or be outside. But there should be plenty of room for everyone to squeak in. Everyone have everything that you need? Blocks, blanket, strap, therapy balls, water, tissues. If the allergies have hit, they're up here. There's also some outside. Also, sleeves exist for that reason and that reason alone. Okay. Excellent. Welcome. Good to see you. First Tuesday class after daylight savings. And it's going to be lighter and lighter as we start to leave. Hi, Amy. Come on in. Let's do a thing. I see a spot right here. Can we, yeah? Can we have, I'm going to do a thing and have these rows just pull back. So if you wouldn't mind scooching in between these two. And then Emily, I'm going to scoot you a little further back here if that's okay. And then everyone gets their own little lane. Yay. Thank you. Okay. Yay, we made it. For those of you that are new to class or to the studio, or it's been some time since you've been here, my name is Anisha. Happy spring. I know not officially yet, but I'm claiming it to be official. We're lucky enough to have Marcy here with us each week assisting. So the way the class will look is we'll both kind of swap from practicing from the mat so that you all and everyone at home can have a visual. And throughout class, we'll also be walking around. So call us over if you have any needs, any questions, any things that your body needs. Hi, come on in. You have a spot back there? You good? That's great. Yeah. Okay. Slow and steady. Last week, our first class of March, I was sharing some stories about the special friend who's been here for the whole year, but usually in March is when we begin to talk about him because his birthday was just on February 26th, a couple of weeks ago. So today I'll share a little more stories about who he is, why we think about him, why we talk about him in a yoga class, and how he starts to trickle into our practice to enhance. So the God that we have behind us, his name is Shiva. He's known as the Lord of Yoga and the Lord of Destruction. And he's most famous for his pose called Shiva Natarajasana, or King Dancer pose. We'll move to some variations of it today, just like we did last week. But the story that I shared, the mythological story that I shared with you last Tuesday, I'll share again and see what starts to bubble up. But there's a very specific reason why there's not necessarily mirrors in the yoga studio. And the reason is because when you learn more about the deities and all the figures that are here, sometimes I also point to the little stuffed animal on top of the camera. He's also a deity that we talk about in September because that's when his birthday is. But the more you learn about their qualities, it's a opportunity to see your own reflection, because all of these stories, all of these gods and goddesses were created by us, for us, to see ourselves more fully and freely. So last week and this week's story started off in the middle of chaos. You get dropped into the story not knowing what's happening, not knowing where you are, but there's a giant churning of an ocean of milk. That's where the story begins. This huge ocean of milk begins to vortex, and those that are around think that it's the only way that they can solve the problems that they have, to find the antidote or to find what they're looking for at the bottom of this ocean of milk. So what's happened is that the goddess of beauty and wisdom, Lakshmi, she's disappeared from the face of the earth. She's kind of been like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to go away for a little while. And no one knows where she is. And when she leaves, she takes everything with her, meaning the ability for plants to grow, for water to come down from the sky, for the rivers to continue to stream. And so everyone who's remaining on land says, we can't exist like this. We need these things in order to survive. And they have a theory that she's hidden at the bottom of this ocean of milk. And so they do this giant churning. They begin to vortex the ocean and see what starts to come up. And to their surprise, from this ocean of milk begins to emerge incredible jewels that they've never seen before, animals from the ocean that they've never seen before. And on the flip side, there's a very insane poison that lives at the bottom of the ocean. In Sanskrit, the name of the poison, it's called halahala. And anytime somebody comes close to it, they kind of get singed. Parts of them, get destroyed. And so they realize the only person who can come to save the day is Shiva, the great destroyer, the one who comes to universes, to planets, to places when no one else can save the day. And he comes to destroy and consume, not for the sake of creating more chaos or turbulence, but for the sake of being able to create more fertile soil to grow, something new to emerge. So he comes to the bottom of the ocean of milk. He very quickly takes the poison and begins to drink it. And his beloved, Parvati, the goddess of the householder, she sees the poison trickling down, and she says, uh-oh, this is an issue. Also, some of you know this asterisk. The way that I tell the stories, nowhere in any of the texts do you hear anyone saying, oh, uh-oh, oh no. It's much more poetic and beautifully stated, but for our Tuesday night, that's how it goes. So Parvati goes, oh no. And she places her hand at the bottom of his throat as the poison is coming down to prevent the poison from percolating through the rest of him. And forever, always, his throat turns a bright blue. He's known as the blue-throated one who's kind of saved the fate of the universe until something else bad happens, which it happens very frequently. So why am I telling you this story? Like I said, we're moving towards a lot of back bends today. We'll do back bends in progression on the floor, on our backs, and standing. And back bends, they tend to offer so much spaciousness in the chest, but they also might have a metaphorical poison where occasionally they create a little creakiness or tenderness in the low back. And so as we practice, the practice is this metaphor of this ocean of milk where things are constantly coming up. Your breath is moving through you, your body is moving. The question becomes not how do you ignore or turn away from the poison, how do you not ignore or turn away of the tendencies in your body, but how can you notice what they are, digest them, consume them so that you can see how much more space you can find within yourself. So back bends we have on deck. We're doing half moon, pigeon with the thigh stretch, back bends on our back bends on our belly, and everywhere in between. But knowing that's where we're going, any requests, any needs that your body has this evening, any poses.
I just have a strained neck.
We'll be mindful of it. Maybe laying. Therapy balls. Yeah, those will help. We'll get those in there. Anyone else? Any other requests? Well, modify, take breaks, sip water, pace yourself, do anything and everything that you need. But I'm happy you guys are here. Thanks for coming. Let's start together in a comfortable seat, however that looks for you. You might start lying down on the floor. You might sit with your legs crossed underneath you. You might be seated on your knees, and perhaps with some props underneath your tush, a block or a blanket. And as your hands fall anywhere they fall, in your lap or on top of your thighs, let your eyes close or soften to listen for the sound of your breath. When we close our eyes, we turn in towards the darkness, that infinite, generative, milky darkness behind your eyelids, where you may begin to see some flashes of light or color or any familiar forms or shapes that you've noticed throughout your day. And as you begin to become more acquainted with the dark, can you listen for the thread of your breath? That breath that connects every aspect of you together. Let your next inhale move from your nose, down into your belly, and up into your heart. And as you exhale, offer the breath up and out through the crown of your head, creating more space for more breath. Take a few more rounds just on your own. Each inhale moves in, back, down, and wide. And every exhale pours itself up, out, and through you. We'll begin our practice and our time here with each other with 3 more rounds of that same breath. A moment to place your hands to center anywhere that feels for you, somewhere on your body or in front of your heart, in a moment of self-reverence. If your hands are in Anjali Mudra, You might pull your thumbs back to touch your heart as you lift your heart up into your thumbs to meet yourself where you are. Wait for your inhale as it fills you up. And exhale to let the breath go. 2 more times, just on your own. At the bottom of your breath, pause for a moment. Take notice of any difference that comes when you listen for and really remember your breath. And now keeping that attention inward as best as you can, let your hands release, blink your eyes open, and make your way to tabletop so we can link breath and movement together through a few rounds of cat and cow. Have your blocks framing out the front of your mat. You might use them as we start to move around. And in your table, your first one for today, bring your hands a handprint forward of your shoulders. Bring those hands as wide as your mat, take up a little extra space, and curl all 10 of your toes under back behind you. Feel the arches and webbing of your feet. If you haven't already, begin to round and arch, moving with your breath through a few cycles of cat and cow. Let's take 5 rounds of breath together on your own. Taking this time to see what it feels like to not just move your body independently in space, but how your breath and your body can really harmonize together. You might stay in the more rounded or arched shape for a few extra cycles of breath. You might even move more forward and back, your hips towards your heels and shoulders forward of the wrists. But as you take this time to feel your breath and your body together, take 1 more round of breath in and a deeper breath out. Now come back to table, find your neutral spine. Watch for your props and friends behind you as we find a calf stretch. Reach the right leg back, tuck the right toes under, and reach through your right heel to notice what you feel in the back of your right leg. You might gently rock the heel forward and back. You might stay still. But as your heel goes back, can you slide the crown of your head forward so all 4 sides of your neck grow longer? After a few breaths on side 1, switch. Bend your right, stretch back through the left, and notice what you feel on side 2. Think heel to the back of your mat as you slide the bottom of your heart forward to grow longer in each direction. A bigger breath in and a longer breath out. Now come back to table, find your neutral spine. Walk your hands forward of your shoulders, bring your knees behind your hips, and as you tuck your toes, we'll meet in downward facing dog. Take as much time and as many breaths as you'd like to find your way there. In your down dog, perhaps stillness is what your body desires. You might pedal your heels from side to side or soften and straighten your knees at the same time. But as you pause in your down dog, can you offer it to your breath, a deeper breath in and a longer breath out through every direction of you. At the bottom of your exhale, lift your heels, soften your knees, peek forward, and 1 foot at a time, walk your feet up towards your palms to come into your forward fold. Those blocks might be right there. Your hands can come up onto blocks out in front of your feet so the floor meets you where you are. You might widen your feet an inch or 2, or even soften your knees, all in service of giving your low back some extra space. If it feels okay for your neck and shoulders, let your head be heavy. Even gently nod your head yes, and slowly nod your head no, and just see what gravity can do for your upper back. A big breath in, and a longer breath out. Now climb your hands up onto your hips, stand down through your legs, and an inhale to come all the way to rise as you release your hands by your sides. With your feet right underneath you, wait for your inhale to reach the arms forward and up as you get tall. And exhale to soften your knees, hinge at your hips and fold. Inhale to come up halfway, hands to your blocks or shins as you reach your chest long. And exhale to step it back to plank pose, the top of your push-up. With those knees up or down, listen for your breath. Feel your legs back behind you in space. And without moving them, hug your legs towards each other from right to left as if they could become one pillar. Now hug your palms together. Feel the forearms and biceps engage. Can you slide your ears back so your head is in line with your chest? A big breath in. And exhale to bend your elbows to lower all the way down to your belly. Bring your hands as wide as your mat. Take up space. On an inhale, rise for cobra or baby cobra as you lift up through the heart. And on your exhale, take it back to downward facing dog. Table or puppy pose for 3 steady breaths. This first round of what we just did, a sun salutation, a Surya Namaskar. It's almost like that churning of the ocean. You take this time to dissolve the day that was, to let yourself arrive to where you are now. And each breath that comes after makes a little more room for what has yet to come. So as you find one more long breath in, let it fill you up completely. Exhale to offer the breath out. At the bottom of your breath, lift the heels, soften your knees, look forward, and come forward to the top of your mat. Inhale to lengthen halfway, let the heart grow long. And as you exhale, fold in towards yourself. Take a breath in to rise, stand through your legs, reach up, touch the sky, get tall. And on your exhale, let those hands come down by your sides. One more time, this time bring a block, place it in between your thighs to give your legs something steady to squeeze into. Now with the block at its narrowest height, think not high up in the groins, but more in the middle of your thighs itself. And now feel both legs on the ground. Give your thighs a squeeze in towards the block. Can you feel your tail reach towards your heels as the low belly lifts and rises? Now bring the shoulder blades together, lift your chest, look away from the ground, hug that block. On your next inhale, reach the arms forward and up as you give the block a squeeze. As you exhale, fold, bowing in with the block between your thighs. On your inhale, come up halfway, give the block a hug, grow longer through the spine. And exhale to hug the block as you fold and bow in. Okay, a little awkward. Keep the block there. Plant your palms and now skitter or to plank pose with the block still between your legs. Your knees might be up, they might be down behind your hips, but feel that block in space. Give it a hug towards center. Now reach your tail towards your heels, slide your chest forward, a big breath in, and exhale to bend your elbows to lower all the way down with the block still there. I know it's strange, just work with it for a second. Point your feet, squeeze the block, and on an inhale, rise for cobra or baby cobra. Think block between your thighs as you hug the shoulder blades together. Exhale to lower all the way back to your belly. Curl your toes, squeeze the block. On an inhale, push through the floor to table or plank pose. And exhale with the block still there, come back to downward facing dog, tush to the sky. Good, as we move towards the practice of backward bends today, back bends are all governed by the legs. So the more the legs can hug in towards a real or a metaphorical block, it might clear some space in the lowest part of your back. So give it a squeeze. Imagine like you could shoot the block up towards the wall behind you. Feel your tush lift to the sky. And as you take a long breath in, let it fill you up. A deeper breath out through every direction. Okay, another little awkward. Lift your heels. Soften your knees with the block still there. Skitter, hop, bring your feet somehow towards your hands. Nice. And then inhale to come up halfway to lengthen. Give the block a hug. Exhale to fold, bowing in towards yourself. Okay, finally, ditch the block from between your thighs. Keep your toes pointing straight ahead. And as you inhale, rise. Reach the arms all the way up to the sky. Exhale to let the hands release. Bring your palms to your thighs. Bend your knees and sit your hips back into chair pose. Hug the imaginary block between the thighs. And now slide your ribs back as you bring your ears back to lift your chin. Your hands might stay down or you might add some heat as you reach your arms up overhead. But listen for your breath. Take a full breath in, down, and wide. Stay for your exhale. Let your hips get heavier to the earth as you lift your heart up to the sky. On an inhale, rise, stand through your legs, reach up, get taller than you've been. And exhale to fold, bowing in towards yourself. Keep your right foot forward, step your left foot back to catch your lunge. And now come high up onto your blocks or fingertips on either side of that right foot. Wiggle your left toes back another inch or two so you get a drop longer in your stance. Now keep your hands on the blocks or floor. Keep your right knee bent. As you inhale, lift your chest, grow long through the spine. And exhale to fold and straighten your right leg in this version of pyramid. Let's do that twice more. Inhale through to lunge. Bend your knee, lift up through the heart. And exhale to fold and straighten. Wait for your inhale as you come through to lunge. Bend the knee. As you exhale, fold and let the right leg straighten. Pause once you find your way here. In this version of this modified pyramid pose, can you lift your back heel higher up off the earth? Press through the left foot to wrap your left hip forward so the right hip can tack back towards the wall behind. Now keeping those hips steady as you inhale, push into the blocks, lift your chest, grow long. Stay here. As you exhale, soften your elbows and fold and bow in towards yourself. Take another big breath in and a longer breath out. And on your next inhale, back it up. Bend your right knee. Step your left foot forward to meet your right to come into your forward fold. Inhale to lengthen halfway. Grow longer through your spine. And as you exhale, fold and bow in. Bring your feet 2 fists width apart or a block width distance apart. And with your toes pointing ahead, bend your knees. Sit those hips back. Maybe hands to thighs or arms up overhead. Utkatasana, round 2. Can you let the hips move towards the back of your mat? And now notice if your ribs and belly are moving forward, slide the ribs back to steady through the middle of your back. Slide the ears back to lift your chin. And if your arms are overhead, spread the fingers, bring them back 1 more inch as you sit lower to the earth. Inhale to come up to rise, reach up, touch the sky, and exhale to fold, bowing in towards yourself. Keep your left foot forward, step the right foot back to catch your lunge. Now the higher up you are on block tips, just the more space your torso has to move. Squeegee the right toes back so you get longer. And now stay in your lunge, push into the blocks. Inhale to lift up through the chest, grow long. As you exhale, fold and straighten the left leg. Twice more with your breath. Wait for the inhale to come to lunge. As you exhale, ride the currents of your breath to straighten the knee. 1 more on your inhale, we meet in lunge. As you exhale, fold and let the left leg straighten. Now the 3rd time the left leg straightens, pause and stay, breathe. Lift your back heel higher so that your hips have a little more room to move. You can wrap your right hip forward and tack the outer left hip back. See where the sensation travels to in the back of your left thigh. Now with those legs steady, as you inhale, push into the blocks, grow long through the spine. Stay here, or as you exhale, fold. Soften your elbows as you bow in towards the left leg. Take 1 more breath in, a deeper breath out. And now on your next inhale, back it up, bend your knee, plant your palms and step it back to down dog, left foot to meet your right as you lift your hips to the sky. Take a breath here, pedal the heels from side to side and notice what you feel, that churning of that metaphorical ocean. Any difference from one leg to the other, any new sensation in your breath. Now feel the imaginary block between your legs. As you inhale, come forward to plank pose. Hug the imaginary block to lower down, chaturanga. Hug the imaginary block as you rise, cobra. Think legs towards each other, tops of your feet into the floor. And exhale to meet in downward facing dog, hips to the sky. From your down dog, float the right leg up and back. Step it through or around to catch your lunge. Now spin your back heel to the floor, climb your right forearm onto your right thigh, and bring your left hand to your hip for this version of extended side angle. Now I know we have the block between our thighs standing. Can you imagine like you have a whole bunch of blocks between your legs that you don't want to let them drop? Hug the right thigh back, the left foot forward, and now shrug both shoulders together. Feel the shoulder blades hug in. Stay right here breathing. You might reach the left arm to the ceiling or overhead towards the front of the room, but listen for the breath. Send each inhale in, down, and wide. Stay for the exhale. You might bend into the right thigh as you guide your right knee open towards those pinky toes. Now the legs stay the same. Reach the left arm towards the wall behind you. As you inhale, rise, warrior 2. Stay for the exhale and bend 1 more inch into that front thigh. Now press the right leg straight. Take a breath, get long in every direction. For triangle pose, bring your right hand to a block or the floor. Let's all come to the outside of your right leg for today. Nice, let's see. Just see what it feels like to bring this hand here and straighten this knee. There you go, with the right leg straight and then reach arm up to the sky. Now feel those imaginary blocks between your legs. Give them a squeeze in towards each other. And as you hug the blocks in, press down into your right hand and reach your left arm 2 more inches to the sky. Can you slide the shoulders back, the ears back to lean back against yourself? On your next inhalation, unwind, look to the floor, bend your right knee, plant your palms, step it back to downward facing dog. A breath to notice, pedal the heels from side to side, see what you feel. And now a few more times together, inhale through to plank pose. As you exhale, lower, Chaturanga Dandasana, hug that imaginary. As you inhale, rise, cobra. And on your exhalation, ride the breath to make your way back to downward facing dog. A full breath in, let it fill you up. And a longer breath out as you offer each exhale through your every fiber of you. On your next inhale, lift the left leg up and back. Step it through or around to catch your lunge. Pivot your back heel to the floor. Climb your left forearm to your left thigh and bring your right hand to your hip to start. Now with both feet on the ground, give them a hug in towards each other. You're engaging the muscles in your inner thighs and your glutes, ground beneath you. Now shrug your right shoulder up and back, shrug your left shoulder up and back, and slide your ears back so your head is in line with your chest. Stay here, maybe the left arm or right arm reaches to the ceiling, maybe it reaches overhead towards the front of the room. But with each breath in, hug your legs towards each other. With every exhale, let the left thigh get heavy as you stretch through the right fingertips and grow longer through the crown of your head. Now keep the legs the same. Reach the right arm back as you inhale, rise, warrior 2. Stay for the exhale and bend into that front thigh. Now press the left leg straight. Take a breath. Get long through the fingertips, up through the top of your head. And for Trikonasana, bring your left hand to a block at any height or to the floor on the outside of your left foot for today. As you feel your feet on the ground, give your legs a gentle hug towards each other. You're pulling the energy from the floor up into your legs. And now keep that as you press straight down into that bottom hand and reach your top arm all the way up to the ceiling. Slide the shoulders back, the ears back to lean back against yourself. A deeper breath in and a longer breath out. Now on your next inhale, unwind, look to the earth. Bend your left knee, plant your palms, and step it back to downward facing dog. Pedal those heels, a moment to notice what you feel. On your next inhale, come through to plank pose and lower all the way down onto your belly. Make a pillow with your hands. Rest on your forehead or on one of your cheeks. Stretch your legs long back behind you. Close your eyes for a moment and really listen for the full fluency of your breath. When we hear these mythological stories of Shiva, one thing I said last week was sometimes it's nice to just be told a mystical story as an adult, to kind of check out and think of these worlds that don't exist in the one that we see. But if we think that every character and every aspect in the story is a version of you, each cycle of your breath is that ocean of milk constantly churning. It reveals to you so much more than you ordinarily realize. Any space, any tightness, any sensation. So take a moment to notice what you feel against the ground. And now as we come up into a round of locust pose here on the earth, reach your arms alongside of you, flip your palms down to face the ground. And now before we lift, hug the imaginary block between your thighs, shrug your shoulders to the ears and hug the shoulder blades together. As you inhale, lift your head, lift your heart, float your arms up off the earth, and exhale to lift your legs up and away from the ground. Treasure, can I give you an assist? With each inhale, can you hug your inner thighs towards each other? Think inseams of your pants towards the sky. As you hug the shoulder blades together, lift your palms a centimeter more, big breath in, And on your exhale, release. Lower all the way down to the earth. Rest on your palm. Rest on your cheek. You might wiggle your tush from side to side. Or stay still, but can you feel your breath saturate into your belly so your low back can broaden, widen, and expand? That's it. After a few breaths on the ground, bring your hands to either side of your chest, curl your toes, press yourself up through to tabletop, come up to your hands and your knees. And we meet for a moment in downward facing dog as you lift your hips to the sky. In your down dog, walk your feet a hair wider than they already are. Lift your heels and soften your knees to let the backs of your legs release. Now stick your tush up and back towards the wall behind you to feel the curve in and through your low back. As you lift your hips to the sky, can you slide the ribs back, the ears back so your head is in line with your heart? A big breath in. Stay here. As you exhale, you might move the legs to straight, pressing the thighs back to let your heels get heavier to the earth. From your down dog, lift your right leg to the sky. For pigeon pose or lizard lunge, draw your right knee to your right wrist and lower your right shin down onto the ground. If for any reason pigeon doesn't feel good on the knee or on the hip, lizard lunge is a great alternative with less sensation and strain on the knee. But we take this one into a thigh stretch, so come high up onto your blocks or fingertips out in front of that right shin. Now, as Marcy's going to demo, with your left leg long behind you, hug your knees towards each other. So it's like the left knee is pulling forward while the right knee is hugging back. And now as you hug the knees in, bend your back knee, lift your left toes up off the floor, stay and breathe here, or keep your right hand down and reach your left hand around to grab onto the left foot or the strap or the pinky or the leg of your pants. But as you come in for this pigeon with the thigh stretch, can you hug your knees towards each other to feel your hips lift away from the earth? Now slide the ribs back, breathe into the middle of your back. Hug the shoulder blades together and even look away from the ground as you take a big breath in and a longer breath out. Now slowly release the hold of that foot. Lower your forearms down onto the floor with your elbows right underneath your shoulders. Interlace your fingers. Look at your wrists. Curl your left toes under and lift your left knee and thigh up and away from the ground. And now slide your right leg back to meet your left for forearm plank. Yay! Sometimes I like to say it really quick so we can just get through it, but forearm plank is where we meet. With your knees up or down, feel that imaginary block behind your thighs. And now think tailbone towards your heels as you slide the bottom of your heart forward. A full breath in and down. Stay for your exhale and offer all of that breath out. And now lower your knees to the floor, lower your belly, lower your chest, make a pillow with your palms, and rest as you feel the full depth of your breath. Underneath the sound of your breath, you might be able to feel for or even listen for the beating of your heart. A longer breath in through the nose, and a steadier breath out through your nose or mouth. Now, after a few breaths on the ground, we have one more side to do, last round. So hands come to either side of your shoulders, curl your toes, press yourself up through to table or plank pose, and on your exhale, take it back to downward facing dog, hips to the sky. A breath in your down dog. Notice what you feel, how it feels, and where in your being you begin to feel it. And on your next inhale, float the left leg up and back. Draw your left knee to your left wrist and lower your left shin to the earth for pigeon on the second side. Let your left knee be as wide as the left side of your mat, so wider than your left hip. And as you come high up onto blocks or fingertips out in front of that left leg, feel both legs against the earth. With your right knee down, hug your right knee forward like you could lift your pelvis, your hips up off the earth. Get lighter. And as you hug the knees together, now bend your right knee, lift your right toes up off the floor. Breathe here. Or your left hand can stay heavy as your right hand reaches around to grab onto the right foot. As you have a hold of the foot or the leg of your pants, notice if the belly and ribs want to move forward. Can you slide the ribs back, the shoulder blades together, and then the ears back so you can look away from the ground? A deep breath in, down, and wide. Stay for your exhale. Grow taller up through the crown of your head. And now with care, release the hold of your right foot. Lower your forearms to the earth. As you interlace your fingers, try to take that awkward thumb or pinky on top. Tuck your right toes, lift your right knee and thigh up off the ground, and for the last round, left leg back to meet your right for forearm plank. The knees can be down, they might be up, but feel for and really listen for the breath itself. Hug your thighs towards each other. Feel your tush reach towards your heels as the chest slides forward, even look forward. A big breath in. Stay for the exhale. And now tiny bend in your knees, walk your feet up towards your elbows and stick your tush to the ceiling for dolphin. It's like down dog, but your forearms are on the ground. Push your forearms down, lift your hips up. And as you lift your hips, you might walk your feet an inch or two closer towards your wrists. A big breath in through the nose and a longer breath out through your nose or mouth. And now slowly walk your feet all the way back to the back of your mat, forearm plank. Tail towards your heels, chest forward, and exhale to lower belly, your chest, and breathe to notice what you feel. You can make a pillow, you can rest on your cheek, you can wiggle your tush from side to side, but feel for the beating of your heart as you listen for each and every breath come in and out. In through your nose, and all the way out through your nose or mouth. Okay, after a few breaths on the ground, press yourself up through to tabletop. Sit back onto your heels, sip some water, shake it out if you haven't already. The fans are on, the windows are open. Are we comfortably sweaty or overcooked? Yeah? There's method to the madness. We like to get a little warm and then we'll cool down, but to get to where we're going, a little bit of heat. You want to swap? Yay. Is there a strap? Does everyone have a strap? Who wants to use one? We'll come in for a shoulder stretch. Thank you. So if you have a strap, you may use it or you may not. Unravel it like a big jump rope. Place it off to the left side of your mat. And now come into your tabletop. Bring your legs as close as you can together. Thighs, knees, feet to touch. Curl all 10 of your toes under, back behind you. And for this version of thunderbolt pose, begin to sit your hips back onto your heels to feel the arches of your feet. Again, this may be plenty of sensation. If you want to alleviate some pressure, you can bring a block between your tush and your heels. You might also stand on your knees. But as you let the toes curl under, grab your strap in your left hand, reach your left arm to the sky. And now bend your left elbow to give yourself a pat on the back. Reach your right arm to the side, turn your right thumb to face the floor. Bend your right elbow to grab the dangly edge of the strap somewhere at your back. That's it. Now for this version of cow face pose in the arms, Gomukhasana, can you wrap your left arm towards your left ear? Feel your right elbow move more to the middle of your mat, or middle of your spine. And as you create some resistance, try to tug your strap apart as you press your head back to lift your chin, but slide the ribs back to steady the middle of your back. A big breath in and a longer breath out. Now on your next inhale, unravel your arms, come back forward to table. You might shake out your feet, roll out your ankles, or pad them out. And an option, perhaps you do the same version with your toes curled under, or point your feet back behind you as you sit your hips back onto your heels. Sometimes at the last second, the calves get in the way and the heels go out. See if you can squeeze the inner heels towards one another to feel this more in the ankles. Now strap in your right hand, reach your right arm up. Bend your right elbow, give yourself a pat on the back. The left arm can reach to the side. As you turn your left thumb down, grab the dangly edge of the strap somewhere at your back. You might notice one arm feels different than the other. Very valid. But it's these actions that we take in this pose. So as you wrap the right arm towards your ear, feel your left elbow move to the middle of your spine. And now the slightest bit of resistance, gently tug your strap apart as you press your head back to lift your chin. Slide the ribs back. A deep breath in and a longer breath out. Now on your next inhale, unwrap your arms. Come back forward to table. Ditch the strap, we'll use it later. Walk your knees back, walk your hands forward, and take it back to downward facing dog, hips to the sky. Pedal your heels and a moment to notice what you feel and see. Now from your downward facing dog, lift the right leg up and back. Step it through or around to catch your lunge. Pivot your back heel to the floor. And we were here before for extended side angle. Climb your right forearm up onto your right thigh. Maybe your left hand is on your hip, up to the sky or overhead towards the front of the room. Feel those blocks between your thighs, the imaginary ones. Hug the legs in. And now think shoulder blades together as you slide the ears back. A deep breath in through the nose. Stay for the exhale as you offer that breath out. Now reach back through the left arm. On an inhale, rise, warrior two. Stay for your exhale, bend into the front thigh. Press the right leg straight. Take a breath, get long in every direction. For Trikonasana, bring your right hand to your block on the outside of that right leg. Your left hand might come to your hip. It might reach to the sky. But in the second round, can you feel both legs on the ground? Hug them in. Now think shoulder blades together. Slide the ears back to lean back. We add on one more. Half moon, bring your left hand to your hip. Look to the floor. Begin to slowly heel toe your left foot towards the top of your mat. Now walk your right hand with the block way far forward and slightly off to the right of your right foot. As you lean into your block, lift your left leg up off the ground. Look to the floor to steady you. Flex the left foot, straighten your left knee, and as you reach back through the left heel, think crown of your head forward to the front of the room. Now stay here breathing or being mindful of neighbors around you. Bend your left knee, kick your tush with your left heel, and maybe let your left hand reach for the pinky side edge of the left foot for a half moon with the thigh stretch. Think thigh forward, kick your foot back, and let that resistance revolve your chest open to the left. A deeper breath in. One more exhale to offer the breath out. And on an inhale, release long in the limbs. Soften your right knee just enough to step the left foot back. Plant your palms and take it back to downward facing dog. Feel gravity underneath you. Feel the floor beneath you as you really listen for the depth of your breath. Any questions about half moon or the thigh stretch? You can lower your knees, sit back onto your heels, shake it out, a breath. That sounded great. I was looking as I was demoing to try to not peek, but I heard that ocean of breath. Some of us have been taking class together for a while, so you might know the tiny yoga hack I have about this pose. That I'll offer to you again as we come in for the second side. So, half moon, extended side angle, warrior two, triangle. You might notice that none of the legs shift. They stay in exactly the same place. But for all of us, what tends to happen is once that back leg is off the floor and away from gravity, unfortunately the back view is the only reasonable way to see this, the back leg tends to swing off to the back. And when this back leg swings off, this toe turns in. You feel it in this butt cheek, and eventually this teeters us off balance. So my invitation is a few things. From your extended side angle to your triangle, as you come forward, instead of letting this back leg swing behind you, in fact, overcorrect, let it reach more forward and lift this inner thigh up. So even when you come into the thigh stretch, you bend the knee. You see how this thigh is forward of my hip? I grab the foot, and it's this action that helps me create the back bend to turn my whole chest up to the sky because the leg's not swinging me back behind me. So I'm thinking thigh forward, foot back, and then the belly revolves to find some space. If we really stretch this metaphor out, there's little things that want to tip you off balance all the time, but how can you find and feel the little tricks that'll help to create more stability? So let's do one more side. Come to your downward facing dog. When you find your breath, a moment or two. And from your down dog, a big breath in and a longer breath out. On your next inhale, lift the left leg to the sky. Step it through to catch your lunge. Spin your back heel to the floor. And for Parsvottanasana, bring your left forearm to your left thigh, your right hand to your hip, to the sky or overhead. But feel for the breath. Hug the legs together. Hug the shoulder blades together. Slide your ears back. A deeper breath in and a longer breath out. And now legs stay the same as you reach the right hand back. Inhale to rise, warrior two. Stay for the exhale. Let the left thigh descend to the earth. As you breathe in, straighten your left leg. Get long in every direction. For Trikonasana, left hand to your block on the outside of your left leg. And now feel how your legs are in space right now, especially the back one. Can you hug the legs together? Bring the shoulder blades together and slide your ears back. For Ardha Chandrasana, bring your right hand to your hip. Look to see where you're going to the floor. Slowly heel toe that right foot forward. And now walk your left hand forward, even onto the floorboards, and slightly off to the left. Notice if that left heel turned out to the side. Let your left heel and toes point forward. Now feel your right leg reach it towards the brick wall side of the room, straight in front of you. Lift your right inner thigh to the sky. Stay here or bend your right knee. Kick your tush with your heel and reach your right hand around for the top of the foot. Look down to steady you. Think thigh forward. Kick your foot back and let that connection revolve your chest open to the right. Take one more breath in. Stay for your exhale. And on your inhale, long through the limbs, soften your left knee to step it back to downward facing dog. Pedal your heels. Notice what you feel. From your down dog, last time together, inhale through to plank pose. As you exhale, lower, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale to rise for cobra, lift up through the chest. And on your exhale, lower all the way back to your belly, down to the ground. Does everyone have one therapy ball that they can work with? If you need some therapy balls, we can bring some over to you. You can also borrow a friend's from their tote. So in a moment, we'll come to lay on our backs. But before we get there, I'd like to take a moment to roll out the thighs. So take the therapy balls out of their tote. You'll just use one. Lay on your belly. And bring the therapy ball right above your right knee, somewhere at the bottom of your right thigh. That's it. You'll just need one. The second one is there as backup, because sometimes they pinball out. Once the therapy ball comes right above your right knee, make a pillow with your hands. Rest on your forehead or on your cheek. And just mindful of those around you, begin to bend and straighten your right leg. Do that a few times on your own as you bend and straighten. Notice if you feel any difference when the knee is bent versus straight. And now the next time you bend your right knee, let it stay bent as you move your right knee to the right and foot to the left so that therapy ball moves to the inside of your thigh. And then knee to the left and foot to the right to go to the outer thigh. Do that a few times on your own. Let the knee go from side to side and feel the therapy ball moving along the base of your leg. A deep, steady breath in, and a long exhale out through every direction of you. Now, after a few breaths at the bottom of your thigh, come back through center, use your hand and pull the therapy ball up, come more to the middle of your leg, somewhere slightly higher than where you just were. Rest on the other palm or on your other cheek. Get as comfortable as you possibly can. And begin to bend and straighten the knee. Think knee to the left and knee to the right from inner to outer thigh. As you unclench your fingers, soften your jaw, let your head get as heavy as it can be to feel the full fluency of your breath. A deeper breath in and a longer breath out. Now, after a few breaths here, pop the therapy ball out. Stretch your legs back behind you. Close your eyes for a moment and notice what a difference feels like from side to side. You might wiggle your hips, you might stay still, but as you listen for the breath, a deeper breath in and a longer breath out. For the second side, find the other therapy ball or the same one right above your left knee at the bottom of your left thigh. A pillow with your palms, rest on your forehead or your cheek, even soften your eyes. And as you slowly on your own bend and straighten and bend, let the knee go from inner to outer thigh, knee to left to right. As the fingers soften, as the brows widen, can you let your tongue release away from the roof of your mouth? A deeper breath in and a long exhale out. Now, similar to the first side, as you draw your left knee back through center, use your hands. Pull the therapy ball up to the middle of your leg, slightly higher than where you just were. Begin to bend and straighten. Let the knee go from left to right. In a few moments after this, we'll be taking one more round of back bends on our backs. And so oftentimes it's thought that lifting up into back bends is about the strength of your upper body, which yeah, it is. But our legs are always much stronger than the arms because we walk on them every day. They exist around us. So back bends are all about the strength of the legs itself. So we roll the thighs out to create a little more space where there might not have been. Now the next time your left knee comes through center, pop the therapy ball out. Stretch your legs back behind you, close your eyes for a moment, and listen for the sound of your breath. A deep breath in and a longer breath out. Okay, after a few breaths, bring your hands to either side of your chest. This is the hardest part of class is coming up. We're going to lie down in a second, but press yourself up through to table, sit back onto your heels, sip some water, and shake it out. So before you come to lie down, I want to show you the options of what we'll take when we come to lie on our back. We've done a lot already in class today. You can be in bridge pose and supported bridge the entirety of your class. But I really invite you, like we did early on with the block between your thighs, to place the block between your legs. Because again, the common tendency, I won't show you the view, but is when we lift, the knees and toes want to turn out, which creates that little metaphorical poison, the creakiness in the low back. So the block acts as a reference point. You can squeeze into it to lift your hips. You can breathe here. You might bring another block under your tush and take a few breaths in supported bridge. We'll all do that for one round. And then for the second round, after we rest, stay in bridge pose. Or for upward facing bow, palms come by your ears. You press through your legs to maybe come up to the top of your head. I'm hugging the block, press through the legs to maybe straighten the arms. Breathing, 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 breathing at a regular, normal pace. And then to come out, upper back, and release. Yeah? Is there time? No, there's no time for today. Next week we'll do it with Urdhva Dhanurasana on the forearms, but we got to lie down first. So, first round, bridge pose, or if you'd like to come to upward facing bow, you can, but come to lie on your back with your head up towards me, the front of the room, feet to the wall behind you. Have both of your blocks within a grabbable distance. You might use them momentarily. And as you come to lay on your back, bend your knees, bring both feet onto the floor, and place that block in between your thighs to give your legs something to squeeze into. Shrug your shoulders to your ears, wiggle the shoulder blades together. For bridge pose, hug the block, push through your feet to lift your hips up. Wiggle the shoulder blades together to lift the back of your chest to the sky. Stay right here breathing, or you might slide that second block underneath your tush. to be in supported bridge. If you're in bridge pose or any variation, your hands might rest on your belly and ribs. They might come alongside of you, and you grab opposite edges of your mat. And as you tug your mat apart, the shoulder blades come closer together. But take one more breath, push through your feet to lift your hips up. Stay for the exhale as you gently press the back of your head down to lift your chin. If you're in supported bridge and you'd like to stay here, please do. Or everyone slowly make your way down. Clear the block from your tush, clear the block from your thighs. Either windshield wiper your knees from side to side, or knock your knees into each other. This will clear space in and through the low back. That's it for the second and last round of backward bends. Feel the memory of the therapy balls where your thighs were. Find your block, place it in between your legs once again. Give it a gentle hug with your heels close to your tush, with your heels right underneath your ankles. Press through your legs, lift your hips up. Wiggle the shoulder blades together to lift the back of your chest. Breathe here. Or for upward facing bow, bring your palms by your ears, your hands as wide as your mat. Squeeze the block, press through your legs to maybe come to the top of your head. Maybe the arms straighten as you press through your legs to let the head lift up. Take a breath in as you are. Stay for your exhale, and then slowly come out the same way you entered. Upper back kisses the floor. Tush. Clear the blocks from underneath you, and everyone lower your hips to the ground. Bring your feet as wide as your mat. Watch for neighbors or props. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, drop your knees to the right for a supine twist. Inhale, the knees come back up through center. And exhale to drop the knees to the left. Do that once more on your own. Inhale to bring the knees back up. And big exhale to let the knees drop to the right. As you inhale, draw the knees up through center. Breathe into your belly and chest. And exhale to drop the knees to the left. Now on your inhale, as the knees come up through center, give your right leg a hug in towards your belly or in towards your chest. Watch for your neighbors around you as you straighten your left leg long out in front. A supine twist. Let your left hand hold your outer right thigh and move the left leg up and over to the left. Now this is a place where I love to bring blocks underneath that right thigh to really bring the floor higher up to meet me. For it's less of how deep of a twist can I be in, but how much can both shoulder blades really soften to the ground. If you want it, I'm going to try it here. Let this leg go all the way off to the side. There you go. And you can also bring it underneath. How's that? Support. Mm-hmm. A full breath in through the nose, and a longer breath out through your nose or mouth. Now on your next inhale, draw the right leg back up through center. Lower your right foot to the floor, and give your left leg a hug in towards your belly or in towards your chest. Straighten your right leg long. Let your right hand hold your outer left thigh. And move the left leg up and over to the right with any and all props to support you. Your left hand might rest on your ribs or on your belly. It might reach off to the side like a big T. But take a full breath in through the nose and a longer breath out through your nose or mouth. On your next inhalation, draw the right left leg back up through center. Give both of your legs a hug in towards your chest or in towards your belly. Make some circles in one or the other direction. Perhaps you lean gently from one side to the other. Or you come into your version of happy baby with your knees wide. Your hands may catch the backs of your thighs, your calves, or the pinky side edges of your feet. But as you let the back of your head get heavy, and your tush get heavy, take a deeper breath in and a longer breath out. Slowly release the hold of your legs to the earth. I'll offer now, before we come into rest, a few rounds of therapy balls in the upper back. But if for any reason you'd like to set up early for rest, please feel free to do so. We'll meet you there very, very soon. Take any and all support that you need. But for those interested in therapy balls in the upper back, you can keep them in their tote or take them out, but hold them in each one of your hands. And now lift your head and shoulders up off the floor. That's it. From your upper back, pop the therapy balls in between your shoulder blades to the top tips of your shoulder blades themselves. And once you find a sweet spot, a place to breathe, a place to be, you might bring your head down onto the floor, or to alleviate pressure, you might bring your head up onto a block. For this work with the therapy balls, especially right before rest, it's less about how can I find the most place of sensation, but how can I breathe through all the fluctuations, the churnings, the sensations of what I notice. Take a long breath in through your nose and a deeper breath out through your nose or mouth. And now, just as we did in the thighs, to find 2 more places, bend your knees, bring both feet onto the floor, and with just enough effort, push through your legs and roll your body towards your head so you feel those therapy balls come down your back to the middle of your shoulder blades, slightly lower than where you were before. Once your head and tush lands on the block or on the ground, take a deep breath in. And even open your mouth to let that breath go. Take another long inhale in and a full, steady breath out. And for one last place, as you press through your legs, roll your body a few more inches towards your head so those therapy balls come down to the bottom tips of your shoulder blades, slightly lower than where you were, the very back of your heart. A deep breath in through the nose and a longer breath out in every direction of you. You might be here, or perhaps you reach your arms slowly to the sky and give yourself an embrace as if your hands could reach for the therapy balls behind your back and you're giving yourself a hug. You might stay still or gently lean from one side to the other, finding for your breath. If your arms are lifted, perhaps you switch which arm is on top to notice any difference from side to side. Take one more full round of breath in and a deeper breath out. Now unwrap your arms if they're wrapped around you. Clear any blocks from underneath you if they're there. And for the exit journey, a few ways you can either roll over onto one side and push them out of the way, or scooch your tush towards your heels, roll your body to the back of your mat so you feel the therapy balls come up. But however they exit, see if they can fully exit for the remainder of Shavasana. For if they stay in for rest, sometimes they create more tension than softness. So give yourself time to release the therapy balls off to the side and make your way towards rest. Feel free to grab any props to support you, a rolled up blanket underneath your knees for your low back to really settle to the earth. You might have a block on your belly, almost like a weighted blanket, to ground you into the floor. Add any layers. You might let your hair down or set your glasses safely off to the side. But let yourself arrive in any way, shape, or form here against the earth. And as you let your eyes soften or close, can you once again listen for your breath? That milky ocean churned, everything through and beyond emerged. And it's here as you lay to rest, where each breath that you take slowly dissolves the entire practice that was. Each breath helps you arrive to where you are now. And every breath that comes after makes space for what has yet to come. So can you let each round of your breath, let your body get heavier into the earth? And the heavier your physical body becomes, the lighter and more spacious you may just start to feel. Begin to deepen your breath. Take a longer breath in and a deeper breath out. Take another breath in, down and wide. And as you exhale, offer all of that breath out. Let your breath begin to awaken the body that you're in and the very being that you are with any gentle movement that feels sweet to you. You might roll your wrists or ankles in one or the other direction. Perhaps you tip your head from one side to the other, heavy against its support. Or just being mindful of props and those around you. You might reach your legs away from your arms or draw your knees in towards your own chest. But as the time comes, we'll meet with both knees bent, one or both arms overhead, as you roll to any side of your choice to curl into yourself. A breath or two here against the ground. And as you press down into the floor, come up to rise to a tall seat, just as we began. With your eyes softly open or softly closed, can you once again listen for the sound of your breath? The breath that moves in, down, and wide. And as you exhale, offer the breath up and out in every direction of you. Our time together will finish with one more of those breaths. You can place your hands to center anywhere that feels for you. As you take a deep breath in, to let it all go. You might bow your head to your heart or lift your hands towards your head in such a simple yet sincere gesture of self-reverence, bowing to yourself and to one another who practiced right alongside with you. And with all of our hearts, Marcy and I bow to each and every one of you all. Thank you so much for choosing to be here. Thank you. Drink lots of water, stay cool, stay warm, allergy meds, everything in between. I'll see you soon. The announcement I have is this Sunday. If you're interested in a roll into rest workshop, Eric and Mariel are offering 30 minutes of rolling, 30 minutes of restorative yoga, a nice way to do a Sunday. Yeah, 1 to 2, Sunday, March 16th. And there's so many other amazing things happening at the studio. So if you're around, come through. We love to see you. Does anyone else have announcements? Any things that you are doing, that you are going to, that other people should know about or might want to come to? Yes?
I have an improv show on Friday at Comedy Sports at 9.
Improv show this Friday at Comedy Sports at 9.
Featuring Kat.
Featuring Kat. Who's right here? Thank you.
Did you talk about your ribbon?
I didn't. I won a ribbon at the flower show for those that were invested. That's not an announcement. It's just I'm very proud. It's an honorable mention, but I learned a lot. So I'm applying next year with 2 more plants. She's white and gold, and I look at her every morning, and I'm very proud of her. And if anyone wants to talk about putting a plant into the flower show, I have a year's, 2 weeks worth of tips. The only requirement is that you just can't have a bug on it, which makes sense because you don't want to contaminate everything else. But like anything else you can put in, it's so fun. It's a little stressful, and I was actively sweating every time I went to go wipe her and drop her off, but it's the best. Thank you. I'm a proud show mom, and I'm going to pageant the shit out of her every year.
Do you have any photos?
Do I do? Oh my God, I have so many photos. Oh, we're out of wipes? Oh, that's okay. I think we'll order some. I'll make sure that they know.
Can I see a photo?
Yes.
Because I took last week,
Yes, that's right.
on Saturday, so I should have
This-
looked to see.
She's a cane begonia.
nice.
What is it called?
She's called begonia. Oh, stop. begonia crackling rose. And I learned this year that she's a cane variety, so she like shoots.
So fun.